of retirement is a better way of navigating your life. Welcome to the What Happens Next channel. Hi there, my name's Chris and welcome to the What Happens Next channel, the channel that's all about helping you navigate what's next in your life, particularly if you're thinking about you're in your 50s and 60s and thinking about that conventional route and whether it applies to you or not. You see, we help loads of people in their 50s and 60s think about what happens next. And interestingly, what we've realised is that conventional route to retirement for a lot of people just doesn't apply to their lives anymore. They're looking for something different. And what we'd like to do on the What Happens Next channel is explore some of those topics, explore some of the things that you may be thinking about yourself and think about how we can help you by sharing really good quality information, really good insights from experts across a wide range of wellbeing areas, and just have better conversations about what happens next as opposed to this conventional route of retirement. Now, you may be wondering who I am. My name's Chris. I'm a chartered financial planner. I run my own business. I've done that now for over a decade. And my day job is spent helping people create financial plans to work out what's next in their lives. Typically, people come and see me when they're at a crossroads, they're at an inflection point, they're thinking about what's next, and they are looking at their lives and saying, what choices have I got? What options have I got? And interestingly, often people come to see me about the financial decisions they need to make, but often the conversation then broadens out to a more holistic, nuanced perspective. And what we want to do on the What Happens Next channel is explore not only the financial elements and financial well-being, but also some of those other holistic areas you should consider when you're thinking about what happens next. Now, I was quite happy running my financial planning business. I've got a busy life. I've got 2 kids. I've got a daughter at uni and 1 at home. I've got, hobbies. I've got friends. I've got family. I've got loads of stuff going on in my life. So why are we starting the What Happens Next channel? What was the reason behind it? And the reason behind it was a conversation I had with a client about 18 months to 2 years ago. A client of mine called Mike. And Mike came to us, similar to how a lot of clients do, with a situation where he wanted to really understand whether he was financially independent to focus on what happens next in his life. So Mike engaged us. Mike decided to start working with us. We built his financial plan, and then we found ourselves at the end of the financial planning process, giving him the good news, giving him the news that based on the stress testing we'd done, based on all of the analysis, based on his goals and what he wanted to achieve, he'd never run out of money again. But I was curious because I know from the work that I do with a lot of my clients, the money might be one aspect, but there's other aspects worth considering. So I asked Mike, what are you going to do with your time? We've told you you're financially independent. You're aware of that. But what are you going to do with all this time? And he said to me, Chris, don't worry. I've got loads to do in the house. Now, that's always interesting because I'm always curious about how long that DIY lasts. To be perfectly frank, I am not great at DIY. I think I'd turn an IKEA table and chairs into a bookshelf given the chance. But certainly, I'm always curious about how long that lasts and whether DIY and doing stuff in the house is a sustainable way, consistent way to spend our time in retirement. So, it was Mike's choice. I said to Mike, okay, that sounds like a plan, Mike, but can you do me a favour? Once you're in a position where you that runs out and you get a bit bored, can you let me know? Because I'd be interested in seeing what's next in your life. About a year later, and it was the 3rd of January, I remember it well. About a year later, Mike sends me a WhatsApp message just with a photo of, I don't know if you remember those Airfix model airplanes, the airplanes you glue together. Now, this particular airplane was a Messerschmitt, easy for you to say, and he'd been gluing it together. And it was just, initially, it was just the image that came through. And I thought that might be the strangest message I've ever had from a client. And then the text come through and it said, Chris, this is how I now spend my time. Do you think I need something more in my life? And that started to spark for me. That started to spark where I started thinking about the value we could have by having deeper conversations with clients about what happens next. And that conversation with Mike was where What Happens Next was born. Because what I want to do is really have deeper conversations with you, with our clients, and encourage people to have deeper conversations and plan better, not only financially. Financial planning is super important when you're thinking about what happens next, but also in other aspects of your life. Now, what am I talking about? I believe that purpose and values is a really important part of thinking about what happens next. Interestingly, when we're at that crossroads, when we're at that inflection point, a lot of what defines us used to be, or probably still is, work. Work is a big part of our life. And we know from all the research that work is a contributing factor to giving us purpose and values. Making sure that we get up in the morning. I know that when my kids were both young, a lot of my purpose was making sure my family was looked after. My experience is that as my kids get older, I'm still dad, but actually the role that I play in their life is different. And my experience also tells me that if you're in your 50s and 60s, you've probably had to redefine the relationship as a parent, if you are one, but also with your employment a number of times. If you're at that crossroads, defining who you are now, defining what you stand for, defining what you mean to the world, and also the value you want to add to the world is fundamentally important to thinking about what's next. We know that health is wealth, and we know that often when we're really busy working hard, building businesses, or having pretty successful careers, physical well-being sometimes takes a back seat. So what we want to do is make sure that on the What Happens Next channel, we're having conversations about physical well-being, primarily exercise, nutrition, sleep. I'm not bad at exercise. I think the other two I could do with all the help I could get with. And I'm sure there's gaps in your physical well-being that we want to share expert suggestions with you to help you get better at that aspect of your life. Often what we find is for clients that either their social well-being has been defined through work, and as their relationship with work changes, their social well-being decreases. But we know how important it is to have really good friendships and social relationships in our lives. We know it enhances well-being, it makes us happier. So what we're going to be talking about is social well-being on the What Happens Next channel, making sure that we're doing what we can to enhance social well-being and thinking about ideas about how we can do that. I also believe that cleanliness is good for us. I believe that doing well in our communities and helping other people is fundamentally important. And certainly for a lot of my clients, a lot of what happens next in their lives might be a stage where they think about giving back a bit more, helping their community. And I'm not saying community as in just where you live. Community can be faith groups, local communities, it can be causes you believe in, it can be things you love, but giving back to that community, we know by using your knowledge, experience, expertise, and sometimes money, is good for your happiness. So we'll talk a lot and delve a lot into that. And even though we're thinking about a crossroads in terms of where we are from a life perspective, that doesn't mean to say that work doesn't play a part in what happens next. Interestingly, in Mike's story, Mike went back to work, so he decided that actually work did play a part in his story because he loved the intellectual challenge of Mike's an engineer, of being an engineer. And helping young people. So it really fitted into both. It fitted into his purpose and his occupational well-being. And clearly, financial well-being also plays a part. Financial well-being is important because we need to make sure that money isn't a worry. We're planning well for our financial futures, but we're doing it as part of this jigsaw of making sure that we are looking at well-being as a whole. So on what happens next, we're going to be doing that quite a lot. We're going to be looking at well-being as a whole, purpose and values in the middle, but exploring some of those other areas so we can help you plan and prepare for whatever's next in your life in the best way possible. So why am I doing this? As I said to you earlier on, I've got quite a busy life already, but I've got a passion. And that passion and desire is to help people like you focus on what happens next, plan better, and live happier lives full of more well-being. That's what I want. If you found this video, and we've got loads more to come, and by the way, if you check the What Happens Next YouTube channel out now, there's loads of videos already with interviews of people who provide us really unique insights into all areas of well-being. Check out the YouTube channel, and I would love it if you really get some benefit out of it to both like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It really helps us with our mission of helping more people. But not only that, you can take a look at www.whathappensnext.life. All the video interviews are on there. We're sharing content on there all the time. You can get a free guide and subscribe to the What Happens Next Inner Circle, where we'll consistently share insights with you. And certainly we'd love for you to be part of our journey, help you, and together work out what happens next. Hopefully that was useful. Really excited about talking to you over the next few weeks and sharing stories about how you can make sure that change is a positive one. Have a lovely remainder of the day, whatever you're doing, and we'll see you next time.